What's up, villains? It's me, the Mayor Brad. I'm here with Andy and not Vince. It's Kirsten, baby. Tonight we do the same thing we do every night. Villains, news, questions, and commentary on the metagame. Kick it to the intro. Guys, it's October. Where's Vince? Did the ghosts get him? Did the ghouls get him? It's spooky season. I see you already got your Jack Skellington hat on.
What's this?
What's this? Kirsten's got a great villains shirt on. I see Chernabog. We're a big fan of Chernabog over here. Oh my god, a big spooky mug. You got
Spooky Princess mug.
You got Scariel. Emily has these backgrounds on her phone. It's like Scariel. I already forget what Snow White is again, but oh man, they're so cute. They're cute little ghosts that look like Disney characters. Snow Fright, I think that's right. And I'm a poet. I just made a rhyme. But yeah, guys, it's October already. Can you believe it?
I cannot. I absolutely cannot. Which means, like, so much stuff is right around the corner, and I am not prepared for it.
Yep. A lot. How about you, Kirsten?
I'm not prepared.
Not prepared.
We can't be prepared anymore. They took that away from us.
True.
They took away our ability to be prepared. So
all I'm left with is an unfortunate situation.
Oh, good reference there. I was about to say I saw a tweet from Lorcana Villain today. Baker was in all this get up or with a chainsaw or whatever. It's like 31 days without be prepared. I'm like, yeah, man, you got to be going crazy over there. That's your song, my man.
A picture of Baker.
How is he even gonna get?
Yeah, he was in this. He was probably doing a gig.
I saw the picture. I thought it was just someone who resembled Baker in a.
No, that was definitely him.
Oh, that was good.
That was because I know he's an actor, right? Yeah, that was really good. But yeah, what do you guys want to talk about tonight? We got a lot of things going on. A lot of things come up. Set championships are coming up. Crazy already. Feel like Fable just started and now we're looking at set championships. I have no idea what I want to play. You guys narrowed it down with your deck test Tuesdays. Anything exciting?
If anything, it's just made me feel worse about what I'm gonna do. I keep losing. No matter what I've played, no matter what he's played, I feel like I keep losing. So I'm really good at that. I'm really good at losing the dice roll.
Yeah, that's kind of important in this game, let alone the meta right now. Going first and getting that board presence is pretty important, but there are ways to capitalize on not going first, I guess. And
she was testing dice. She had the giant pile of trove dice. She was rolling 2 at a time, and she would just keep rolling them. If they had bad numbers, throw them away. Keep rolling 2 more.
Yeah.
She found one that rolled like a couple good numbers in a row. She's like, all right, these are feeling good. And then they rolled like a 4. And she's like, nope. Chucked them in the bin. So
tonight at Fortuna, Heather was rolling high all night until she rolled snake eyes against me. She's like, well, that's it. I can't roll. She rolled double 6s against Jimmy. And I was like, if I keep rolling like that, I'm good. But then she played me. And I guess I brought all the bad luck over. So Before we get too heavy into what we're playing and everything, that's going to be a big part of the show later on. Let's talk about some Underworld news. This past weekend, I spent the weekend up in Detroit at the Glass City Showdown. Was a bummer you guys couldn't come with me. I know you had prior commitments and Vince had to step out too, but you missed a heck of a tournament, a heck of a weekend, guys. It was incredible being there. We had an 8K and a 5K, 103 people at the start of the 8K on Saturday. Absolutely insane, and so
only one at the end.
Only one at the end, and that went to Sky again after PPG Denver last week. Sky took down the 8K as well with Amber Steel. I don't know if there was any amendments to his deck or not, but he still played it like a pro. I got to cast his first game against Habibi, playing Sea Dogs, that was the top 16 game. But just incredible Lorcana all around, all weekend. I got to sit next to Luke Wonderland from Team Maelstrom. incredible mind on him, man. 1 minute we're BSing about, what Overwatch in the back and just all kinds of fun things. And then suddenly, in the middle of the cast, like when the game was starting, in a snap of a finger, he's dialed in and talking all these play lines and stuff. And I'm like,
laser focused.
If you go back and watch that, like, I'm just trying to keep up. Like, Luke, you take it. You're the reason you're here is for this kind of analyzation of what's going on or whatever. And just incredible to sit next to him, sit next to Dakota from Legends of the Inkwell. Absolutely grateful, thankful to him to having me on, bringing me up there. And JD's so shiny. It's such a treat, man. I kid you not, he's in our Discord now, and he listened to the podcast on the way to Glass City and was really excited to be there and just be around all of us. And I swear he's emits this like positive energy, man. He's always smiling and just always having a good time. Can't wait for you to meet him. He said he's going to be in town in November. Hopefully we can get something going on and you guys can play with him. But yeah, just a great weekend. You did great. What did you guys think? I appreciate it.
You did great.
Yeah, we were there.
It was fun. Yeah. And that's the next thing I was going to say. You guys were in the chat supporting me. Emily was supporting, jumping in the chat. She doesn't know much about Lorcana other than I love it. So her being in there, you guys being in there, everybody who popped in to support, it was so kind to see and just super great weekend. Hopefully, we'll see more things like that in the future with all of us being there. You guys can experience that as well. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought you guys did a great job. It was a lot of fun getting to, at least we couldn't go to play. We had a darn concert Friday before, and we were literally sitting at the concert, and Andy was like,
we could still go.
If we leave right now, he literally was like, we could still drive, and I'm like, bro, it's like 8:30. The concert hasn't started, and I'm already kind of tired. Like, we are not doing that, mate. Like,
I told that
happening.
Story. Yeah, because he would joke about that the weeks leading up to it. And I told that story to them. Like, yeah, like I guarantee you, he's still thinking about driving overnight to come play in this tomorrow.
We were there, and he was like, "We can still go. It's fine. Like, we can make it." And I'm like, "No, dude. Like, we wouldn't survive."
Yeah.
But no, you guys did a great job. It was so much fun getting to see you and all of the other great people that I haven't gotten to meet yet. Cast that event. It was super fun. It was super
very, very cool.
Super exciting to get to see some of those interesting matchups they put on. And I really liked that you guys switched over to like the kids tournament and stuff. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. That was the other thing too.
Yeah. Alternate content, not just like a table 2, but like some of the other like side events. Cause like it stinks that some of the other like big events, like they only do the main event and then that's it. They don't like, capitalize on the additional content that could be had or like the additional people they could be showcasing for, these women's tournaments or the kids tournaments.
Sure.
So it's really fun to like see these really good young players do really well in the tournaments.
Yeah, we had a kids tournament. I think it fired off with 8. It was free to play and just fun in general. Got to include them in the broadcast with, of course, parental consent and everything. And and just an overall blast. The atmosphere was great. Everybody was having a good time. The vendors were there. It was run by a company called Game & Company. It's a local store there in the Detroit area, and they had all kinds of fun things to check out. They had binders of every color of the game, full of play sets of every card and more, so that you can, if you needed cards, you can get them. I think everything rare up like was just a straight line across, and just like if you needed a card, they had it in there. They had other vendors with lots of shiny cards. Just super, super cool. So grateful to have been a part. And the judges, I cannot move on without talking about the judges. They were all incredible. The head judge was Elaine. Whenever there was an issue, and there were a couple issues, she was in total control of it, got it all taken care of. So shout out to them. And hopefully we get something like that down here in the future. We do have something coming up actually in just a few days. Well, I guess when this airs tomorrow on Saturday, you guys want to talk about that?
Yes, potentially right now. Like if you're listening to this and it is prior to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, plus or minus however many, time units you live in distance from Impact Gaming Center, you need to jump in your vehicle and show up here. Impact Gaming
vroom.
Center X ROV Fabled Set Champs : Enchanted Elsa Edition on Saturday, October 4th. It is what I would argue the biggest set champs ever in the history of set champs. I mean, the Elsa the Maleficent Enchanted prizing that is given out rivals the Stitch prizing, honestly. One less playmat, so there's just that first place coveted playmat, a couple extra cards to be had, but we have upped the stakes. Impact Gaming has put an Enchanted Elsa from the first chapter up for grabs for the winner, as well as just an unbelievable amount of other prizes donated by the Rules of Villainy and our wonderful community, you guys out there watching this. We have enchanted cards from pretty much all of the previous set champs. We've got promo cards from Continentals that are autographed by Ryan Miller, Steve Warner, and the artist themselves. We've got playmats from set champs.
Banners.
We've got banners, yes, like the ones. I think we have a Stitch banner that will be up as a raffle prize, and a Tinkerbell banner that will be available as the second place prize, along with pack prizing. I'm told that Impact is basically scaling this exactly like a normal scaling cash tournament would be. So as we get more and more people, we'll potentially be throwing in more and more enchanteds that they have for prizing for this event.
Wow.
So show up. Let's make this the biggest event St. Louis has ever seen. We're using our patented, no longer patent pending, trademarked, copyrighted,
all rights
Rules
reserved
of Villainy ticketing system, where you will get tickets just for playing in the game. No matter how much you win or lose, you will get some tickets from every round. Every game in every round will mean something, and you'll get tickets, and you'll get to put them towards the prize that you would like to win at the raffle. No longer will you win a prize that you already have and have your name removed from the raffle. You'll get to put it in for exactly what you want. And so we'll have tons of information on that when you get there on Saturday. We hope to see everyone there. Please come out. It is going to be such an amazing event. We love to see you all there.
So how many people do we have currently, Kirsten?
We're this close to 50. We're like 48, and that doesn't include a couple people that I know are coming.
Oh, so we're going to hit 50 and hopefully more. That's going to be insane.
More. I'm hoping we can get to like 60.
Well, 65 adds another round, and I think it officially breaks the record for the largest Lorcana event that St. Louis has ever seen. So
yeah, the last one would be the Grapes tournament that we had for the Enchanted Mickey, or the promo Mickey, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was in the 60s. Yeah.
We didn't hit 7 rounds on that. So I think it was like 63 or 64 people, just right on the edge of it. But now we have room for a ton. I don't even know what the capacity is at Impact. So we could easily get to 100 plus. Tell all of your friends, bring your family, your parents, teach them Lorcana.
Quick.
We will see you guys there.
You have a day. If you're listening on Friday, you have a day to learn Lorcana, Disney Lorcana, and come play in the set championship, the biggest one that St. Louis has likely ever seen.
Yes.
All right. Moving on from that, a couple things I wanted to note as well. At least one of them. We have a couple winners here in the podcast today from a bounding contest. Did I say that right? Bounding?
Disney bounding contest.
Yeah.
The one that Ravensburger put on. It was their Instagram contest that they posted that they were doing.
Ravensburger North America.
Yeah. I can't remember where they posted it. Did they post it on
Ravensburger
Discord?
North America? In
they
Instagram.
Posted it somewhere before Fabled released. That go to your local game store during Fabled set release. The pre-release events. And just dress up as your favorite character or a character that you wanted to from Disney. So me and Andy dressed up as Max, Goof, and Roxanne.
Yeah,
and we won.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yay!
That was super cute. I had no idea that was even happening, and that you guys got that announcement. And so happy for you guys. I showed Emily. She's like, "Oh my god, that's adorable."
we were there were 10 winners, I believe, total. So we were top 10, but 5 of them got featured on the post about the winners, and we were unfortunately
Oh
not
my gosh.
featured. So we were top 10, but not top 5. We
That's
made
okay.
Top Cut, but we didn't make it past the first round in Top Cut,
Oh man.
unfortunately, to get our
Didn't
picture
actually
featured.
matter
However,
because
we
all
still
got the same prizing.
got the prizing, which is just a
What'd you get?
ton of Fabled product. We got a booster
Oh,
box,
nice.
a trove, a playmat, a box, sleeves, and a $25 Ravensburger gift card.
Wow.
So,
use
and
that on a puzzle.
yes,
I already bought them all.
we could use it on another Ravensburger puzzle. It doesn't have to be
Or-
the Lorcana one.
Yeah.
Or Whispers in the Well
Whispers
product.
in the Well. Yeah.
Product, yes.
That's awesome.
So
I know, I'm
we
really
are excited to get that. Maybe we'll make a quick video when we get it opening some of the product.
Yeah.
Maybe
And if you
post
want
that on
to,
Kirsten's
if you want to see a picture of Kirsten and Andy as Max Goof and oh my Roxanne, it was escaping me for a second. We'll have that on the Discord, which you guys can join with the link in the description below if you're not there already. But well deserved. You guys looked great. And that's all I had for the news here. How, you guys want to move on to Constituents Corner?
Let's do it.
Do it.
Now, generally, I know we're doing things a little bit different here because Vince isn't here and we kind of have open reign to do what we want. I've talked a lot already, and I know this is kind of my bit, being Constituents Corner and being the mayor of Lorcana. Would any of you like to read the questions instead?
I'll
Or
read the
either
first
of you?
one.
Okay. Go for it.
All right. It's from Repo Man. Do you think the actual rules of villainy will be hard set at 13? 13 has been considered an evil and superstitious number after all, or do you think that they will keep adding more and more rules as time goes on? Also, with Whispers in the Well coming soon, which villain do you think or hope will get the next rule attached to them?
That is a very good question. I've been saying for weeks now, since Whispers in the Well was announced, and we know that Black Cauldron is coming in. Well, actually, we knew Black Cauldron was coming to Disney Lorcana for months, for a long time. I think it was like a D23 announcement, right? And my first thought was, the Horned King has to have a rule of villainy. He's like the purest evil in, like, I think all of Disney. Like, there's no reason why he should not have a rule of villainy.
Chernabog.
I get your thought process there, except we said the same thing when Jafar got his literal own set. And he still
does not
have a rule of villainy. I'm just saying, maybe it's because he couldn't keep hold of the crown. I don't know.
Well,
but like there's like a flaw in that theory, because like clearly Ravensburger is just like, we know you want it, but like nah, not this time.
Not
you
this
know what
one.
it is? You actually we have I don't think anyone, Brad, you weren't there, and Kirsten is apparently not remembering, but we will break news here. The rules of villainy have asked Ravensburger specifically about this question, the why cards do not have more rules of villainies on them. And we were actually told by I don't remember their title, but they were important enough to be on the panel, a member from Ravensburger, that says the villains don't give out that information very easily. And so part of the problem is that we simply we can't learn the tricks of the trade of these villains. They're perhaps still using them to do things like steal the Hexwell crown and try and take over all of Lorcana. With that said, I do kind of agree that there's like this long line. There's like this list, right? You know, Horn King should definitely have a rule of villainy, but like, get in line, right? Chernabog's pretty evil. Hades doesn't have a rule of villainy. Jafar doesn't have a rule of villainy. You know, so there's
Captain Hook.
Yeah, Captain. So there's definitely a very prestigious and long line of villains waiting to get their rule published on a Lorcana card. So
But there's only so many big bads, I think, in Disney Lorcana, right? Or just in Disney in general. We are missing currently, if the number does stop at 13, which is Repo Man's question, we are missing 5 rules of villainy. That's number 3, 5, 7, 10, and 11. If we think about Jafar, Hades, and Captain Hook, that's 3 there. The Horn King would be 4.
Chernabog.
And then Chernabog would be 5. Okay. I don't know if Chernabog.
He's really a villain.
He's just kind of I don't know.
He's like the epitome of all evil. He is like the devil. No, right? He's like super evil.
You ever see the
Fantasia was pretty scary.
Yeah. Did you ever see the meme? It's not as scary when you think about the meme online when they show Chernabog with his hands out and it's just like, hey, check out my manicure. Yeah.
My new nails. The new set.
So, I mean, to answer your question, Repo Man, it could stop at 13. I like your thinking because it's like a sinister number, superstitious number. It could go on. I would be fine if it stayed at 13 if the 5 that they are missing in between are good ones. And, the big 3, Jafar, Hades, and Captain Hook, I think absolutely need to have one. The other 2 are, and I also would argue the Horned King needs one as well. But
we're missing
who knows what they're going to do with it?
Too. Like, Radigan doesn't have one.
Oh, that's a good call. Radigan. Yeah. Oh my God. We gotta
go. Cruella has one.
No, she doesn't.
Isn't she the one that's dude in fashion?
No, that's Ursula.
That's Ursula. That's the first one. Yeah.
Madame Medusa doesn't have one.
You're right. We got to go over 13.
We've got a ton here that are gonna. Do we have the Queen? We don't have the Queen, right?
We don't have the Queen. We have the Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts, right?
Yeah.
No Queen. There's a lot of these. Madame Mim probably deserves to get one. I mean, at least in this game, Madame Mim is pretty prominent. Tamatoa, again, they may not be the most villainous in their franchises.
Yeah.
But, they're kind of pretty important.
You sold me. To answer you. Yeah. I would say, we have to go over 13 then. As much as thematically, I think 13 would be a good number. We have to go over that. So that's my final thoughts.
More.
Anybody else? More. Just give me more.
More.
All right. I'll take this next question from Paul. He got it in right at the last second as we were about to record. He asks, I know this is probably late for this week's recording, but already addressed that. With cards like Tiana going from $3 to $35 a couple of sets later, what cards from sets 5 through 9 do you think are cheap now but could spike back up in a later set, and what would it take to make them spike? Example, Tamatoa Happy as a Clam went from 45 to now 17. Will it rise again if some good items are printed? Absolutely. Part of the reason that made Tamatoa so powerful was so shiny even was the popsicles. Baby. And as if you've been a long time listener, or at least a listener since rotation began, I firmly believe that Popsicle is coming back next set with all the Zootopia hype around it, but could be wrong. But that would easily make Tamatoa. What's that?
Zootopia.
Oh, we had a bunch of funny names for it. Zootopia. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for that movie. I need to go revisit the first one. But Tamatoa is, like, you nailed it in the question itself, Paul. Tamatoa is going to go right back up as soon as that Popsicle's reprinted. Don't take it, 100%, but that is my theory, at least. And there are several other examples probably out there. Did you guys think of any in the short window that we had between this question and starting to record?
I don't really have any predictions, but I feel like that's like a normal thing. Like, that just happens as new things come out with new sets. People look back on the old cards and they're like, "Oh, let's put that back in."
That's what I did with Camille. It's one of those things where it's like a lot of new cards come out and people are like, "Oh, this card sucks. This card is no good. Why would they reprint this?" And then suddenly, like the legendary John Silver that came back from the first chapter in this set is just wreaking havoc in Emerald Sapphire right now. And it's like, okay, the lines are there. They knew what they were doing. Tiana, they dropped her in Azurite Sea, knowing a couple sets later that like, oh, she's going to be a problem, when all the pieces fit together. And it's like every few months they're dropping more pieces to a puzzle and allowing you to figure out, their thought patterns in their release, in their releases and everything. We talked about this a couple weeks ago too, when we're talking about Tiana as the villain of the week. Even it's I like seeing that. We saw Naveen come out in Shimmering Skies before Down in New Orleans came out in Reign of Jafar, and those cards are supposed, you can tell just thematically, are meant to work together. So they knew, eventually these cards are going to pair and it's going to do a lot of cool things, and they have ideas for how the meta wants to look, or they want the meta to look at certain times, and it's neat kind of seeing it all come together.
Yeah.
Andy, do you have thoughts on any cards that fall into this category?
I don't know. Ban secondary markets. Rip your packs. No, I'm just. I mean, like one that comes to mind is Maui Half Shark. That like right now I think it's falling drastically in price, but that card is still like really broken and really good. I think a lot of the legendaries specifically, the cards are, especially any of them that just kind of hovered around legendary price, like that $5 where it's like this card isn't playable at all, but it's still slightly rare because it's a legendary, and so there's not too many of them, so it's always worth a couple bucks. That's essentially what Tiana was, and Tiana was just like so unbelievably unplayable before, given all the cards that we had, that all it takes is like one more card to be introduced into the game to make Tiana just like completely unplayable again. And in fact, Tiana's already going back down in price. Like it was it went up to like $40 at some point, and it's actually on the way back down, down to like $30 or so. So I think people, I don't know. Then you got to take into account like cards that you can't get anymore. Essentially, like 2 or 3 sets from now, are cards from like Shimmering Skies and stuff going to be harder to find because you won't be able to get as many. But then again, everyone probably already has play sets of Tamatoa. You didn't sell them off after Popsicle was banned or rotated out, I guess. But I don't know. I think you should. I'm not a fan of the secondary markets. I think you should ultimately always keep good copies of all of your cards, and you should always revisit them and look at them and try and see if they are potentially viable in the meta that you're looking to play in. And by that regards, the value, quote unquote, of any card can go from bulk bin to top tier, like a Tiana kind of did at some point.
Do you think, on the inverse of Paul's question here, I was kind of thinking about this as you were talking, or at the back end of that, Dumbo, do you think when more cards come out that he becomes less prominent in the or less? He's expensive right now because there's he's just
good card draw, yeah,
good card draw. But
yeah, if there was like, I guess, all it would take is something to disrupt like all of the pieces around Dumbo. Dumbo is great because of Genie and Elsa and cards like TikTok being viable. If any of that is sort of disrupted, or if we get any, I think there were rumors going around of a possible new board wipe card that was supposed to be introduced in Fabled but was not. So if that card gets introduced in the future, additional forms of removal will make that card less good.
Yeah.
So I want to say something like, imagine Medusa gets reprinted.
It's
granted,
funny.
It's
Medusa, funny how that card came out after Medusa goes away, right?
Yeah, and Medusa doesn't make Dumbo unplayable because Ruby Sapphire would still need a little bit more help, I think, in that department. But if there was some way to combat the Dumbo more easily, or something to negate the evasive's effectiveness like they are in the current meta, I think we would see the value of that drop down, or just better card draw. They reprint Friends. You might not need Dumbo anymore, right?
Sure.
Something like that.
Right on. All right, moving on to Solo Falcon asking, now that we know that 18 points at a DLC will get you to day 2 of Swiss, I'm curious what y'all's thoughts are going to be on 5-0-3 or going 5-0-3 or risking it all for win 6 to hit the 18-point threshold.
No.
Andy's already shaking his head.
Yeah, you just don't, right? Like we learned now that because there's this additional cut that the prizing is participation Pegasus, 3 wins out of 8, 3 round wins out of the 8 on the first day gets you the Mulan, correct? Right? No one's correcting me. Okay, so and then
I think
5 and then 18 points total. So 6 wins gets you to day 2. So 6 and 2 will still make it. That'll be 18 points, 3 points per round win. But getting to day 2 really means very little, especially if you're in a spot of 503. There's obviously a lot of things that can happen, but for the most part, it's a 4,000 person tournament, right?
Bologna. I think the future of them are I think the North American ones are 2048.
2048. Okay.
Yeah.
So in a 2,048 person event, with the way they're doing this 8 rounds, cut to 4 more rounds of Swiss, cut to top 32, you're basically going to need something like, out of the 12 rounds, you're going to need like 9 times 3 is 27. So you're going to need like 30 points. You need like 30 points to be looking at making top 32. And even that is maybe not perfect, not guaranteed. And so you need to go 903. So if you went 5 wins and then ID'd 3 rounds to make it to day 2, you now have to win all 4 of your day 2 rounds, or you go home. It's just win or go home at that point. Whereas those same 3 rounds you would ID, and again, this is not taking into account that your opponent probably doesn't want to ID with you and all these things. All you have to do is win one of those. 1 out of 3. You just need a 33% win rate over those last 3 games to go into day 2 in the same situation, where and every extra game you pick up off of those 3 sets you up for day 2 that much better, because ultimately you need 10 wins to make top 32 out of 12. So at 5 wins in day 1, I would most certainly play all 3 of those games, and you only need to go 1 and 2 to still have a chance, and everything above that is cherry on top.
It sounds like a lot of pressure though. I'll be happy to get my 3, but we'll see what happens. Do you have any thoughts on that, Kirsten?
I will deal with that when I get there.
When you get there, that's how I feel. Like when Vince is here and him and
I can't.
When him and Andy get into like tournament numbers and everything, I'm just like, just tell me what I need to do when I get there. Like, can I ID this one? Or do I have to play it? What happens if I lose this one? Those kind of things.
Yeah, and what happens when you listen to Vince? You listen to Vince, and he got you bubbled out, Brad. He got you bubbled out.
No, let's not do that. He's gonna hear that. He's like, Andy.
I won't be able to hear him because his audio is broken, so it don't matter. Got him. Next question.
Oh man! All right, our final question, and is going to be a segue into our main segment. So before I ask it, if you would like your questions answered here on the podcast, please feel free to join our Discord. There will be a link in the description below. You can ask in the Constituents Corner channel. You can ask in the comment section below or anywhere on our socials at Rules of Villainy. This final question comes from Jackalope Spam saying, Bologna is this weekend and the meta seems to be focused on 4 main decks. How many other decks do you think will make top 32? The top seems to be Amethyst Sapphire, Emerald Sapphire, Amber Steel, and Amethyst Steel.
I think that anything is up for grabs, to be honest. Like when it comes to the top 32, just because, like, I don't know. Like, we can see we've seen crazy stuff happen, you know?
Sure.
I can see a deck like Trinidogs or Amber Emerald
Judge.
going
Chernobog is not legal in this format.
Stop it.
Chromidogs, Sea Dogs, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I can see
Underdog.
that, you know, just throwing their opponents off for however many rounds and magically making it into top 32.
After
I think that there will be a couple of random decks in top 32. Top
especially in a field so big, I 100% agree. I'm when you're talking about the crazy stuff, I'm thinking about Seattle. I think we had 2048 there. We had a lot of people in Seattle, and there was a deck that made the top cut that was Amber Steel Locations.
Yeah,
You know, he just
that.
You know, nobody heard or seen anything about that, and he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go shock the world, and he made top cut with Amber Steel Locations so much that one of somebody who I played the next day in a constructed event came into the booth or came into the convention hall that morning as early as possible to buy all the cards that he needed to build that deck and whip me in the first round of that competitive constructive event. Right, like there's a lot of cooking to be made. We've been talking about it. We talked about it in depth last week with the Ruby Steel conversation that, you know, there's a lot of cooking to do. You know, we know what the top decks are, as Jackalope did point out here. And like, I want to be surprised. I want to see something. I want to see Ruby Amethyst come back in some capacity. I think there's been rumblings of different variations of that could be successful, you know, and you know, if you pay attention to the socials at all, this weekend we saw Amber Steel win the 8K at Glass City. We saw Chroma Dogs win down in Texas.
Star.
Yeah, Lone Star. We saw the Emerald Sapphire win the 5K at Glass City as well. And like it's just a vast, like,
Blurple
it seems really
CCQ.
Healthy right now.
Yeah.
The Blurple won a CCQ. So what are your thoughts, Andy? I know you are got some opinions on it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think, as far as the question, how many other decks do we think will make top 32? I certainly can't predict, and I don't know for sure, but I think there are definitely several that have a very strong chance. I think Chroma Dogs, Emerald, there are a couple variations of that, the Under the Sea Dogs or the Chroma Dogs. I also think that there is decks like Emerald Steel, Sapphire Steel, Ruby Amethyst is another one. I don't know if I'd go as far to say Ruby Steel or Ruby Sapphire.
I want to be surprised. Somebody do it.
Maybe but all of these decks we've seen perform. We've seen them perform well enough for us to be like, oh, this is, you know, maybe they do well enough that Brad is like, maybe this deck has a chance, right? And so if they are that, if they can do that, then they certainly have a chance to actually, you know, make a splash. Like you said, a huge field. I also tend to think that the people who play these decks are people who have a lot more experience in them. People who have put a lot more practice into this specific deck and who are making a very educated meta call. So you know, you're gonna play something. It reminds me of something like Alex playing that Ruby Sapphire, that very cooked Ruby Sapphire he did at the 1K, or even Grapes Andy, who had who played like the Chernodogs deck back then, which was again sort of this tier 2 or this more niche deck that he had crafted and said, look, you know, this will beat the metagame that I'm expecting. And you have those people are just really good at those decks, right? Like Brad on Ruby Amber that time you won the set champs, or Brad on Blurple most other times, sometimes maybe. But you know, it's just the rogue decks are often piloted by people who are rogue deck experts, and they've like practiced that deck a whole lot. So I think that, along with the huge pool, will mean that there'll be like I think we're gonna see like a lot of Blurple, a lot of Emerald Sapphire, little bit of Amber Steel, a little bit of Amethyst Steel, and I think we'll definitely see like one or two of like several of these more rogue decks. Cherno Dogs, Chroma Dogs, whatever. Maybe a Sapphire Steel. That'd be really fun to see. Someone popping off with that Scar. Ruby Amethyst, Emerald Steel. I think they're all contentions for popping off there.
Yeah. Any other thoughts there for you, Kirsten?
No, that's basically how I feel. I just want to see it in action. It's not gonna be me.
It's gonna be a long day on Saturday because the DLC starts our time at like 2 a.m. right? Because it's all the way over there in Italy. Is that where it's at?
Bologna.
Yeah.
Bologna. And makes me want a sandwich. No, it's at 2 a.m. Long 8-hour day, and then right after that, we're gonna be streaming live on this channel here on YouTube. That big set championship we told you about earlier. So just a huge day of Disney Lorcana happening this weekend, and let alone anywhere else that is doing their set championships and streams throughout the world on Saturday. Can't wait to see all the decks that come out of those. What decks are you guys considering playing this set championship season? I know we touched a little bit on before at the beginning of the podcast where you didn't know, but I kind of cut it off because I knew we were going to talk about it later. I didn't mean to jump into it too quickly, but you got to pick one.
Since Vince isn't here, I'm just going to derail the conversation for a second and say, you know how in sports ball they have NFL Red Zone, right? Where it's just like nonstop, like touchdowns and like football action. They just like cut back and forth between all the games. We should have Lorcana Red Zone channel where we live stream on one of these weekends where they just have like 3, 4, 5 different tournaments going, like all these big 1Ks and 5Ks. Because that's basically what Kirsten and I were doing with Glass City and Lone Star and the Cardiff CCQ, is we're just like switching back and forth between all of them to whichever one has like gameplay on right now.
Yeah.
And so if we should start that. Rules of Villainy.
The lore zone.
The lore zone. Yes.
Let's go. TM trademark
zone.
Right here.
24 hours of nonstop lore zone action starts right now. And we just bring you game after game live on twitch.tv/rules of villainy. Do we own that? Is that
we do have a Twitch. We never use it, but but maybe that's a thing. I think we found our episode title with the lore zone though.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, so you were saying what?
Yeah, what decks are we playing? What are we expecting to see here locally? We got set championships. I'm assuming some people are tuning in here, wanting to get ideas for set championships. I mean, we talk about it quite a bit. We know that you do your deck test Tuesdays. They can watch those decks in action. I was kind of wanting to land on what you guys are feeling the most comfortable with and what you would play. And if I know Andy, you're casting on Saturday, Kirsten's playing. I guess you don't have to say what you're playing because that would.
For anybody that's coming, I'm playing Ruby Emerald Christmas deck, so be prepared for that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, be prepared. You don't have to.
Be prepared. Yeah, you can't be prepared in there.
Diane.
I personally have tested Amethyst Steel and Blurple the most, and I do feel like Blurple is a little more skill expressive. It has a little more decision making to it. I feel like it has the potential, if piloted properly, to be the best deck in the format. It has an amazing card pool to choose from when building the list and trying to customize it. Brad and I have gone back and forth many times where I say that he has put too much spice in his Blurple deck and it is now considered jank. However,
I've taken it all out.
However, in isolation, when you hand me that spice card, it is spicy, and I say that would make Blurple taste a little better. The problem is, too many of them, and so it is a fun puzzle both to build with all the interesting cards for Blurple. Amethyst Steel is a little more just straight ahead, do my plan. Good luck trying to stop me. And I'm not a fan of Amber Steel as much. Emerald Sapphire, I think is a little too high on the control end. Something maybe like a Ruby Sapphire Items. It's very fun to play, and when you win, it becomes like this incredible lockout of the field. But Blurple and Amethyst Steel I've tested the most. I like Blurple a lot. Kirsten has just been playing everything since the set started, it seems like, and I feel like I kind of was like, Blurple is probably what I would play. I feel like I gave her this recommendation, and then in case you didn't watch this past deck test Tuesday, we played 3 or 4 best of 3s. 4 best of 3s. Blurple lost every single best of 3 on the night. Blurple lost to Kirsten was playing Blurple for 3 of them and lost to Amber Steel, Emerald Sapphire, and Amethyst Steel. And then she wanted to try Chroma Dogs, and I switched over to Blurple because I wanted to, go back to trying that again. And I got 2-0'd. She cooked me with the Chroma Dogs. So
Man,
it is rough.
That deck, and I want to hear Kirsten's thoughts on it here in just a second, but like Habibi at Glass City really, like, I had already built the Sea Dogs version that I saw Ghosty had. He did an interview with Alter Academy and did as like a 20-30 minute video on YouTube. It was really just a dive into his mind and just a bunch of alters and what you're looking for and explaining the deck and everything. Really, really informative. It was like, I'll build this for Monday night. Never got to play it Monday night at game night. And then I watched Habibi last weekend at Glass City bring the Chroma Dogs version over there. And on both of his games, the first game, I think round 2 or 3 in Swiss, was just a back and forth with Amethyst Steel, and it was almost in the grasp of his opponent, and I think there was a misplay at the end. I don't remember specifically what happened, but like the amount of work that the Chromicon did against like the Calhouns and or just anything that they put out and challenged into, whenever he gave them the ability to challenge into something, it was just so much control there, and there was so much math and manipulation of like when to quest and when to do things that I was like, this deck looks fun, but maybe a little bit too much like 5 steps ahead for me. A lot of times like I'm thinking ahead a little bit, but not in the way that there was a turn at the end of the game where Habibi took like 5 minutes. The people in the chat were calling for time and all this stuff, and found out later that they had made an agreement. They knew they were going the time. The game was going to end in the next 2 turns for one of them. But he was going through the mental math of all of the cards. He had a wide board. He was facing like 3 Calhouns and all this stuff or whatever. And I was like, God, the mental gymnastics he's going through right now with this deck seemed like insane. And then he played it, he lost, I think, by 1 to Sky in the top 16 on the next day, the Amber Steel one. And, it was just an absolute incredible game to watch. If I can figure out, I think I can probably timestamp those games and put them in the link in the description below. If not, I'll send a whole link to the entire feed and kind of in the chat so you guys can check it out, because it's great gameplay and makes me interested in that version of the deck too. But then I don't know what where to make the change from the Sea Dogs to, because I like the Under the Sea version of the Tramp coming down super early and then having just him and somebody else sing it, But like, there's a lot of stuff there to consider, and it looks like a really fun deck, and it's a rogue deck right now. But I think it's picking up with steam with the win that it got at Lone Star, and the performance that Habibi did, and I had fun with it testing it out tonight into Blurple. I mean, I end up losing, but they were both very, very close games.
Mm-hmm.
Lost
And
Blurple. Wow.
I lost to Blurple.
Down?
I didn't have Chromicon in it. I didn't have it built, so it was still Sea Dogs for all intents and purposes. But I needed to. I didn't have time to update it to like more like Habibi's build from the weekend or the build that won.
See, you don't want to be playing. You don't want to be playing the Dog Water deck. You want to be playing the Chroma.
It's Dog
Water. Yeah, that other deck is Dog Water. Get it?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Good. You did it. You did it.
Yeah, no, this card, the lady,
he's so good.
The 1-drop lady.
Yep.
I hate the combo of trying to play all of these characters to try and buff this up. but a 1-drop that quests for 3 is this is the only one. So you play this, you go wide, you get a couple quests, cheesy quests, and now you're wide, which most people can't deal with, and then you play the Chromicon, and then they just like kind of lose. It's really fun, because with the Chromicon out, when they have to challenge you, you basically get to Mother Knows Best, play a Mother Knows Best in between every board interaction that they have. So you have these wide boards, you quest, and then every time they take out one of your characters, pause the game. Hold on. I get to play my Mother Knows Best. I get to Mother Knows Best something. Kirsten took out my Bobby, and I immediately bounced my Go-Go Tamago back to my hand, and I was like, there you go.
You could do
what are you
your
gonna
own.
do now? What are you gonna do now? You should have taken that out first. And she was like, oh no, can I take that back? I was like, absolutely not. Get good.
There's also decisions to be made. Sorry, Kirsten, I was wanting to bounce it over to you. There's also decisions to be made to not do it. That was one of the chief things that Habibi did in that Swiss round, where he purposefully did not bounce something back because of the extra. Given he was expecting his opponent to have the giant cobra, which they did, but they didn't play it for some reason. But bouncing something back to their hand would have given that discard, to activate the giant cobra and stuff. So there's times to decide. Like, it was something I never even thought of. I was talking to BB after the game, and I'm like, oh man, like, you were going through the ringer of gymnastics, and then even thinking about the fact, like, oh, I'm not going to bounce something with that, because of the repercussions of it backfire. It's just absolutely insane, but it seems like it's really fun. I need to get the Chromicon down and do some of that shenanigans and test that out. Maybe tomorrow, Bodex, we'll test that out. Or last night, if you're listening to this. But Kirsten, how do you feel about that deck? You played it a little bit, huh?
I thought it was really fun. I mean, I think I only played it the one time. Maybe we tested another time. Yeah, I think we only played it last night on Duck Test Tuesday. Maybe I played it another time. I don't remember.
You played a Sea Dogs version instead.
A Sea Dogs version, which I think that was really fun too.
Yeah, I was gonna say you played Emerald Steel as well, which is similar concept, right?
I was having fun with the Emerald Steel. Wasn't doing as well with it. I'm not a big fan of Amethyst Steel or Amber Steel at the moment. So I feel like these decks are fast enough that they can keep up with the more control-y decks to hopefully, secure that win before you can get under the seed by Baja or, Hades to weigh your entire board by Blurple. But
sure.
I think they can be real contenders, and I'm definitely having fun with them. More fun than Amber Steel for me, at least.
Yeah, I think Blurple is kind of cemented as one of the top decks, though. I think we will see a ton of that at set champs. I feel like Blurple compared to something like Ruby Sapphire is not as disliked. There's a lot of people who are like, I don't want to play Ruby Sapphire. I don't want to play this control deck. Whereas Blurple, I feel, is one of those decks, almost like Brooms, where it has like this cult following. And so I think it'll be kind of okay to play Blurple as the best deck, right? You're not, it's not like discard, right? Emerald Steel discard. I don't want to play discard even if it is the best deck. That's gross. I don't want to play Ruby Sapphire even if it is the best deck. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Blurple. Hey, Blurple's the best deck. I like Blurple. I've always liked Blurple, even when it wasn't the best deck. And so I think that's an easy one for people to choose. It's, I don't want to say the easiest to play. It's certainly very skill expressive, which makes it both hard to play, but it's also really powerful. So like, even if you're, I don't want to say even if you're bad, but even if you're less experienced with Blurple and some of the play lines, like your play lines are all very good. So you're going to end up making very high value plays. Therefore, it's very forgiving. If you do make some misplays, unless of course you're playing against one of these more aggro lists, in which case, like any control list, you are you know, you're they've got their thumb on you. I don't know what the phrase is. I'm not good with
You're
idioms.
cooked, mate.
Yeah, you're getting cooked, and you've got like the heat. You gotta withstand the heat or get out of the kitchen in those first couple turns because that aggro coming for you. Which is the one thing that scares me the most, right? Like obviously I'm not playing on Saturday, but if I was, I'd probably want to bring Blurple because I feel like again, the decisions that I can make for the list building, we've talked about them on here before in our previous episodes. Camilo was one that Brad mentioned to me and that I've been very high on since. Radigan is one that I think like 2 months ago, like like at least one set ago, I'm playing against Brad and he plays this card and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's just like a Radigan or something. I don't I'm losing. That card is, whatever. It's just in my deck." I'm like, "Oh, well that kind of sucks. I kind of just lose the game here, don't I?" And then like I lost that match and Brad being all sad with actually won and I'm like, "That card's actually pretty goated." And now I think even more than ever it is very good. So cards like that I think can be put into your deck and for me would make a very, very fun tournament to play several rounds of Blurple mirrors, Blurple versus Emerald Sapphire, to play these like sort of control mirrors, even against like Amethyst Steel, the more Dumbo evasive version that's a little less aggro. Like, yeah, let's have some of these battles back and forth. I've got slightly better cards, and I think I play a little better than you. So let's do this duel. But
funny. It's funny you mentioned Radigan. I did switch my deck. I actually took Camilo out this tonight, and I still left a single Radigan in. And Ryan forgot his deck, so I let him play that against Jimmy's Amethyst Steel, as I was playing into Heather's Blurple with my with my Ruby Steel. No, we're not talking about that. We had I put up a good fight. Put up a good fight. Honestly, she'll tell you the same. But at the end of the night, Ryan goes, "I don't know how I feel about that Radigan, man." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? He's always been in there." And I go, he goes, "It feels greedy." I go, "That's literally the name of the card, man. It's Greedy Genius." he's warded, and they can't do anything about him until he turns sideways, and even then, it's going to be multiple bodies to take him out. So it is kind of it is greedy in that sense, but it's like if you get him out there, you're all but guaranteed that 4 lore. Like I know you'll bring up, B King Undisputed and a couple other rogue things that could do it. But
B King Undisputed. Get out of here with that Ruby nonsense. Ruby is unplayable. Haven't you listened to the 64th rule of villainy? Radigan he's like it's like a reach card almost. You wouldn't say goat is greedy, right? You don't say Cobra is greedy. You don't say Dime is greedy. I mean, Radigan, the amount of times in testing that I have done all the math and then just like inked and slammed the Radigan, quested, and just like it just shut off all of the math that me and my opponent, usually Kirsten, have been doing this entire game where it's like, okay, I take 1 out, I quest for 2, he takes 1 out, he can quest for 2, they keep going to, and I just go, nah, quest, Radigan, GG's, right? Like it's over. There's nothing that takes this out, and it's inkable. My biggest problem with Radigan and Camilo is that I'm only playing 1, maybe 2 of them in the tests, in the builds that I'm testing. And so when you're only playing 1 of them and you get it early, you like
rip.
Yeah, you're like, I really want this because it's like my only one, and this combo, like if having Camilo stick on the board later in the game just like absolutely wins you the game so many times. It is such a great late game tool. Same with Radigan, that it really sucks to have to ink that early just to like, get a Basil on the board or something, or like be able to play your turn 4. Like a Mim Elephant's not going to win me this game. But again, it goes back to being too many good cards, I think, in Blurple for it makes it really, really hard to build a 60 exact 60 and not
Yeah.
a 70 plus, which some of my lists have been. As I gotta trim them down. Like Kirsten
Yep.
has a 67 card M-Fire list.
Yeah.
M-Fire. Stop trying to make M-Fire happen, Gretchen.
It's Blarold, thank you.
Oh no.
Stop,
Clean.
doesn't even go here.
Clean.
Anyway.
Yeah, Radigan's always been a one-of spice since he was really set in my blur pool. I bumped him up to 3 when we were testing out Camille for a while to see. Ryan's gonna hate me because I keep saying Camille wrong. Apparently, Camilo.
Camilo.
Camilo. But yeah, I bumped him back down to 1 tonight. Ryan found him and told me, he's like, I don't know how I feel about this Radigan. I'm like, well, you haven't felt the power. You haven't felt the power of the Radigan yet. But I was trying to rank to him with like Kita and stuff on 4, but it's just a little too slow. You want to get that genie out or the Iago in the mirror to threaten the evasives, and even Dumbo now. Like Dumbo, like I didn't understand. Like I'm not going back on like he's definitely overpriced, but like he's one of the cards that's like I never wanted to play him on 4 until even Justin here locally explained to me. He's like, well, in the Baja matchup, like you want to play Dumbo on 4 because I don't have an answer for it. And I'm like, I guess that makes sense. Like
if they're on the play, their answer is you're welcome, because they'll have.
I guess you're welcome. Yeah,
and then they'll be able to you're welcome your 4-drop.
But that's the only one. But yeah, so. Other than that, like it misses Mother Knows Best. It misses, whatever else.
No, it
hits
could be Mother Knows
cards.
Best.
No, what?
Mother Knows Best.
I thought that was a 2 strength thing. Am I confusing?
No,
Mother Knows Best is just bounce anything. 3 cost, bounce anything.
Yeah.
But
well, then I'm silly then.
You're thinking
maybe Justin doesn't run that then. No, he does because I watched him and Ron go deep on Monday night into the mirror match. And
not everyone runs Mother Knows Best either. That's an interesting one to run, honestly. But like the Dumbo is great because of these evasive cards that exist and because card draw is so valuable. It's a very vulnerable target. And it has like no real ETB. Like you have to already have an evasive in play and the ink to like play him and use it or whatever. But
yeah,
like I don't know, Dumbo, Genie, they're both very good 4-drops. I'm happy to have both of them. I think Dumbo's way too overpriced. I don't know if that is in some way reflective of greed of the sellers and like the market in general, or like how many of them are actually. Obviously, if you don't have a Dumbo, you're posting on Facebook saying how you've pulled 1,000 packs and you've gotten no Dumbos. So like there may be some complainership bias there, but I tend to agree with you, Brad. It seems a little overpriced, and I think it is a card that could very, very easily, as we talked about before, be found obsolete. Yeah,
every card has its time. Right now, it seems to be Dumbo's time, and that maybe they'll change. That we're going back to earlier. Maybe it'll change. Maybe it won't. Maybe something will make it even more powerful in the sets to come. But don't know right now what that would be. Kirsten, do you have a what?
One drop Amethyst evasive, 2-drop Sapphire evasive that ramps. Any of those?
Put Dumbo and Ruby Amethyst. You got your evasive Vanellope on 2. I think there's a evasive Vanellope on 2 and 3, right? Yeah, and Pegasus, yeah. So I guess he could fit in Ruby Amethyst if he really wanted to as well, but doesn't seem to be a lot of those going around right now. But yeah, Kirsten, do you have any thoughts on Dumbo or any decks in the meta that we haven't touched on yet?
No, I'm ready. Sort of. I want to get this over with. I want to get Saturday over with.
Oh no, we're gonna have a good time. Don't say it like that.
No, I just need to get the first one out of the way, and then I'm fine.
Man, the first one being the biggest one too. Like it's not even like a practice set championship. It's a potentially 60-person set championship for an
Boom, baby.
enchanted Elsa. That should get you inspired. That should get you going. It's the last enchanted you guys need for set 1. Yeah, so wishing you the best of luck. Wish Andy could have played in it as well. They'll give you guys double the chances, but
no, I'm bad at this game. Don't matter.
we all are. We're new-ish. Nah. Should we move on to Villain of the Week?
Villain of the Week. Sorry, I had to
question.
Do
before I read it, do we call an audible on the Villain of the Week and go with what you initially?
I don't know what I initially.
We were talking about Radigan before the podcast. Then we talked about him a lot already. Or do we stick with what we got?
Nah. I think we stick with what we got. People who know Radigan as a villain, they know he's good. They don't need the validation of him being bad.
Well, we talk about him. Yeah, we talk about him enough. Villain of the Week. Apologies to Gantu. All hail from set 5 Shimmering Skies. We have the Emerald Chromicon. It is a 3-cost uninkable item with the ability Emerald Light. During opponent's turns, whenever one of your characters is banished, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. Flavor text: trust in the winds of change. That is an inscription on the Chromicon, and the art is by Dustin Panzino. It is an uncommon card, but it is becoming more common in the Emerald decks that we are seeing today. We said a lot about it already. It's kind of a pain. I said a couple of weeks ago I saw it in an Amethyst Emerald deck, and it was bouncing all my stuff. And now it's in these wide decks that Andy was talking about, the Amber Emerald decks, where they're all low to the ground, 0/0/4s, 1/2s, whatever. But with that Chromicon out there, go ahead, banish it. Banish my Lilo. I will send something back to your hand, and I'll just play the Lilo for free next turn, or not for free, but before my turn for 2 ink. It is insane. And the way that it was manipulated at Glass City, at least in the 2 matches I watched Habibi play it, I'm dying to try a deck like this and just do this constant manipulation of bouncing characters. And in fact, I need to pull it up here. I'll let you guys talk about it. There is something I think that might be synergistic with it that might be a lot of fun. But how do you?
Staff.
It's Maleficent Staff, yeah.
I told you. Don't even act like I didn't already think about using my Maleficent Staff enchanted. Come on, mate.
That's a 2-cost inkable item.
I tried to fit that in the moment that it came out, and the moment I got my grubby little hands on that enchant, I was like, I need to put this in a deck and see if it works, and it didn't work. But it maybe could work now.
It might. Whenever one of your opponent's characters, items, or locations is returned to their hand from play, gain 1 lore. If you can do a bunch of Chromicon shenanigans with both of these items on board, it's a 2-cost inkable. This is a 3-cost uninkable. I mean, that's 2 turns you're not getting characters on board, so it's a lot of setup, but it sounds fun. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on that synergy. I want to talk about the Chromicon specifically, but I don't know. Man. There's a lot of cool things you could do with it, and this is it's a very challenge heavy meta right now too. So it's
just so annoying to deal with. When in our testing, when he first played this, I was like, this changes everything. I can't do anything. Hardly. There's not enough into the unknowns in my deck to deal with this. I don't have enough Hades to deal with this. There's no item removal. Why would you play item removal? Who does that? Nobody plays items.
That was about to be my next question, was have you considered putting in item removal? I know it's not great.
Ew.
You know who has item removal?
Who?
The Baja. Heads Held Under the Sea. Yeah, Baja.
With the Clarabelle. Yep.
Clarabelle 1-drop has built-in item removal, and they didn't even mean to. It was just an accident.
Yeah, it's just a happy accident.
Is that what it says on the card?
Yeah. I do think that the Chromicon's biggest weakness is not winning the game fast enough. It's not being able to go fast enough. So for me, the primary objective when someone plays down a Chromicon is I immediately start calculating, how can I win the game faster than them? And if I can't, I probably lost. It's probably just over. The other option of fighting back is essentially like it's not worth it. It's a moot point. You are it's an uphill battle. You'll never win. So what you need to do with the Chromicon is be as far ahead as possible and have as much pressure as possible. So when we look at 1-drop characters with 2 or more lore, the only options we have are Curse Merfolk and Daisy Duck, which are both Amber Emerald. And then you enter in some of the pseudo extra lores like this lady that has 3 lore potential with cards like the other lady, the green 1-drop lady that also has a potential for 2 lore, being another 2 lore character. And so you play something like 0/3 lady. Next turn you play something like Daisy Merfolk, other lady, and a tramp. Now you quest for 3. You're threatening 6 or 4 more lore the next turn to go to 7. And the turn 3, you can then immediately play Chromicon. So now you have 3 characters on the board. They are putting their 3rd character down, but they essentially they need 2 characters per one of yours. They need to double the amount of characters they have on the board, and it just simply is not possible because decks like Blurple and any of these decks are not trying to play turn 1 1-drop, turn 2 2 1-drops, turn 3 Chromicon, turn 4 all of the rest of your hand, as many characters as you possibly can. It's just really hard to deal with. You have to there's been times where I've just like said, okay, genie, let's like quest a whole bunch. I'm just gonna try and race you. Radigan has come in and helped me beat a Chromicon deck because I've just been able to, put that much lore pressure on the board for the next turn. Because you really have to ignore it because they can't control when it gets bounced. It has to be on your opponent's turn, which is really like the trick to it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Have you considered any banish item of cards into your Blurple specifically? Is the colors I'm looking at right now. There's quite a few in there, and some that are surprising to me. Even we all know about Wasabi. I brought that up before and memed on a little bit about it. You do give them a lore for Wasabi. He's a 4. I think he's a 4-cost inkable. He comes out and banishes an item. They gain 1 lore, or its player does. You could do it on yourself if you had an item out there. The new Alice. There's a new Alice right now that's a 4-cost inkable. It's one of the promo cards as well. Whenever you play this character, you may put chosen item into its player's inkwell face down and exerted. I feel like she was created for this kind of interaction, being that the Chromicon is 3 and the Alice is a 4. Most of the time with Bramp, though, you're playing Alice on 3.
Isn't that the epic one too?
I'm sorry?
I think it is the epic.
I think it's epic. Yeah, it is an epic as well. She also has another ability. When this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -2 strength this turn. So there is some other mechanics with her. I don't think she's terrible. I just not like a place for her right now, unless
it's really unfortunate because that second ability, character quests, chosen opposing character gets -2 this turn, is nice, but it's not good in Blurple. Blurple doesn't care about that really at all. In fact, you could argue that Blurple doesn't want to reduce your strength because it wants to be able to take on damage for Elephant and Bell. So you could just say that like Cusco would be another option. Like, do you want a 6-cost 3/5? Is that what Cusco is? Right? Is he still even playable?
He's still playable. He is
6-cost 3/5, or do you want a 4-cost 2/3? Or do you want an action? Is the other one? Is the action still playable?
Hideaway.
Hideaway. Yep.
Yeah,
that's set 5.
Which is kind of mid. Again, actions don't really help Blurple at all.
And you can't even use it on yourself because you won't have any items or location.
And so, honestly, Wasabi is one of the better options, if not the best option, because Wasabi also has evasive on your turn, so it synergizes with Dumbo, and it's a 3/3, so it can trade with a Dumbo. It can be buffed with a Basil to take out a
Elsa.
an Elsa, yeah, or a genie is what I was thinking.
It can also, which is kind of interesting because it's an interaction that we don't really have in Blurple right now. Since he's evasive on turn, we usually see that with Amethyst Steel. He could also synergize with your own Dumbo.
That's what I said with
Dumbo on
Dumbo.
5.
I said that.
Oh, I thought you
He
meant
works with Dumbo.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yep.
No worries. But yeah,
I thought you were talking about challenging him, but yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah, and there's a lot of these like bounce, like purple, like Amethyst has like bounce for items, right? This one, whenever this character quests, you may choose and discard a card to return chosen character, item, or location would cost 3 or less to their player's hand.
Yep.
I've seen that like work surprisingly well in
That was actually at Cardiff. I think there was a big ordeal about that on Twitter this past weekend. That people were surprised to see and happy to see that card being successful in the CCQ.
Which one was it?
Maleficent. The
Vexed
3-drop.
Party Goer.
Yeah. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's really interesting. There's not great
Go back
options.
to Judy Hopps days.
Judy Hopps, but giving them a card versus giving them the lore.
Yeah.
It's hard because both of the deck you're targeting, the only item that gets played really at all in the meta currently is this Chromicon. So giving them a card or a lore, giving them a card is basically like giving them 2 lore, because they're gonna probably draw a 2 lore quester, and then giving them a lore is giving them a lore, right? There's also Rockfort. Whenever this character quests, you may put chosen item into its player's inkwell face down and exerted. It's a 2-drop, 2/2, quest for 1. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
Obviously it interferes with your ramp.
But if you go the route that I'm too cowardice to try is the Cruella ramp, where you don't ramp on 2, you ramp on 3 with Cruella on board.
Cruella?
The new legendary Cruella.
One.
Yeah, so you have Rafiki, you have Rafiki or the 2-drop or your 2-drops. Now, if it's Rockford or whatever, when they challenge into something and banish it, you get to get your top deck into your inkwell. So that was something that I know Hazed was playing around with on when I was looking at early builds of Blurple on Twitter. I don't think he could have made SSG. It was Hazed or was it Ghosty? One of them couldn't make SSG the very opening of Fabled, and they had a Cruella build prepared for it, and it was ramping off of her instead of. I mean, you can still do Tipo as well on 2, but then when he challenges into something and takes it out, or is it just when they challenge it?
It's once during your turn, whenever a character with cost 2 or less is banished, put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. You have to. I think you would want to find a way to banish the character you're on your own, because think of all the games you've played, Brad and Kirsten, and think about how many times your opponent actually has something that you can trade into or send your Tipo or Rockford or whatever into, because they're typically worried about something like a hypnotic strength or a buff from a tramp or some other method of being able to, or even just like an into the unknown or something like that. So especially in today's meta, we live in an upright meta, frankly. Characters stay unexerted on the board as much as they can. So I'd be a little worried about that working, but
I just threw that out there.
Yeah, that's not a
trying
bad
to get
idea.
Rockford out on 2, but
Pleakley is, I think, a better option.
Luke was high on Pleakley this weekend when he was talking about it. Yeah,
I would much rather play Pleakley on 3 and Pleakley my Rockfort after it quested to remove the Chromicon. Problem is, if they delay the Chromicon, now you can't play your Pleakley and you don't get your ramp. So you need a Pleakley or 1-drop, which it's there's a bunch of options. This kind of goes back to what I was saying before, that I think not just Blurple. So many of these decks are just like have so many really awesome options that we can tinker around with. And because certain powerful cards don't exist, it's not just like, oh yeah, that's not worth it, right? There's no reason to do that because that would be so easily removed with this. This is what, Hideaway is so prevalent. We can't do it. Benja is too popular or whatever. But Chromicon is a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that's my final thoughts here is that I love the interaction it adds on your opponent's turn. It stops everything your opponent's doing essentially and lets you butt in and say, I get to do something too. We're gonna do this back and forth, even though it's your turn. It's a lot of fun, and it is super, super annoying to have to play against.
The first time I played against it, I was like, I don't know how to deal with your board now. Like everything I put down,
fast.
I just can't. You gotta go faster, and that's what should be etched on the Chromicon. Must go faster, like Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Gotta go fast, like Sonic.
Should we jump into the artist showcase?
Yes.
Yeah, we have 13 cards by Dustin Panzino. All 6 of the Chromicons were done by him. The newest cards in the set or the newest cards in his repertoire are the March Hare from the Reign of Jafar, as well as the legendary Rhea. And then a few others, a couple Hans, a couple Baymax. The Hans was a reprint from set 4.
Alice.
Noble Scoundrel. And then, of course, a former villain of the week, Alice, the Savvy Sailor, which you got signed at Gen Con.
Yes, we've got autographed Rhea and Alice. We didn't have the time nor the funds to get all of the cards by Dustin signed. But shout out to my league and my arcane friends and the Rift Round players out there.
That's a beautiful
also
piece.
Did a commissioned artwork for Riot Games for the show Arcane, and I got this awesome Jinx autographed here. This little print. So Dustin was great to meet at Gen Con. Amazing art. I look forward to seeing more of it in the game.
All right, that's going to do it for Villain of the Week. If you have any thoughts on the Emerald Chromicon, we want to hear them in the comments below or anywhere on our socials at Rules of Villainy. Let us know your thoughts on Villain of the Week. I am reading Vince's outro here. I just repeated myself. So we hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're joining us on audio, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen.
And if you're joining us on YouTube, which if you're not, you really should, because we have a lot of fun over here. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell to be notified of all of our amazing content, including the meta report with the mayor himself, Deck Test Tuesdays, this podcast, live streams coming up October 4th. Be there. Be in the YouTube. Be in person at Impact Gaming. We can't wait to see you.
We understand your time is valuable, so we appreciate you spending it a little bit with us. If you would like to follow along as we plot our devious plans, consider following us on our socials. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and the platform formerly known as Twitter, at Rules of Villainy. We also have a growing community on Discord in which you can join with the link below, and you should, because I love seeing your pet.
And where can they find you, Kirsten?
I am also on all of those things that we already listed. Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, just at ROV Kirsten, except on Instagram it's ROV_, because I'm different.
Yeah. Until next week, I'm beautiful, baby. Stay safe, fellow villains. Be wary of wannabe heroes who want to disrupt your villainous plans. And as always, remember the rules of villainy.